Imagine you've fallen asleep on the ground, in the open, in lion country. No tent, no fire, no fence, no vehicle, no experienced guide, just you, the dark, and whatever is moving through it. Most people assume one of two things. Either a lion would attack immediately, or nothing would happen at all. Both of those assumptions are wrong, and the real answer is far more specific and far more unsettling. In this video, we're going to put you directly into that scenario, not from your point of view, but from the lion's, and walk through exactly what would happen, step by step, from the moment the sun disappears. The first thing that changes at dusk in lion country is the balance of perception, and it flips almost completely against you the moment daylight fades. Lions are built for low light in a way humans are not, even remotely. Their eyes have a specialized reflective layer behind the retina called the tapetum lucidum, which amplifies available light and gives them a massive visual advantage in darkness. While you are struggling to see 10 feet in front of you, a lion can track movement clearly from 100 yards away in near total darkness. Their hearing is sharp enough to localize faint sounds at significant distances, including the sound of a sleeping mammal's breathing pattern in quiet conditions. And their sense of smell, while not as extreme as a dog's, is more than sufficient to detect, identify, and investigate an unfamiliar mammal in their territory. So from the moment you fall asleep on open ground, you have surrendered almost every advantage that normally makes humans costly targets for large predators. You cannot see the lion, you cannot hear it approach, you cannot read its body language or distance, and you cannot produce any of the signals, upright posture, eye contact, noise, coordinated group behavior, that usually make lions treat people as more trouble than they're worth. In short, you've handed the environment entirely over to an animal that was built to use it. Long before anything visible happens, the story of this encounter begins with your smell. The wind is constantly carrying information through the landscape, and a lion positioned downwind from you receives a continuous, detailed chemical report. It picks up mammal, unfamiliar species, or familiar human scent, with additional layers depending on what you're carrying: soap, food residue, fabric, sweat, possibly blood if you've been near meat, possibly livestock if you've been near cattle. Lions don't process this information in words the way we do, but they are continuously assessing novelty, vulnerability, and risk. A standing human near an active fire, near a group making noise, or near a professionally managed camp reads as a risk-heavy situation. A motionless, silent human body on the ground, broadcasting scent into the dark without standing up, without moving, without making any noise beyond the soft sounds of sleep, is a completely different puzzle. That puzzle might be resolved as avoidance, especially if the lion has no history of human contact as an opportunity. Or the puzzle might pull the lion closer, not necessarily with predatory intent, but with the same investigative curiosity that drives most large animal behavior around unfamiliar stimuli. And that curiosity is already a problem, because a curious lion and a close lion are the same lion. Here's how predatory investigation actually unfolds in practice, because it almost never looks the way wildlife films suggest. First, the lion positions itself with a visual advantage, behind cover, behind a rock, inside a patch of tall grass, somewhere with partial concealment. From there it watches and waits. It doesn't rush. It tests whether the target responds to its presence, whether you move, look up, stand, make sound, or show awareness of being observed. Then it pauses again and again, sometimes for several minutes between movements. This is the behavior of an animal that is an expert economist of danger. Adult lions are powerful, but they're not bulletproof. A broken canine tooth, a damaged paw from a hoof strike, an injury from an animal fighting back. Any of these can become life-threatening over time for a wild predator. So even a capable, healthy lion does not commit to contact without reading the situation carefully first. If the wind shifts and the scent picture becomes less clear, the lion repositions. It moves around you to find a better angle, a cleaner read on what you are. Throughout all of this, it is also reading context. Are there zebra or wildebeest nearby that represent a more familiar and predictable food source? Is there a carcass near you that it wants access to? Is there a pride member close enough to make group action possible? Are there cubs nearby that change the behavioral calculus from predation to defense? All of these factors run simultaneously, and the lion is reading them all while you remain completely unaware. Sleep is dangerous in lion territory in a specific, mechanical way that isn't just about being unconscious. Think about what humans actually bring to a predator encounter. Upright posture that signals size, direct eye contact that signals awareness, the ability to make sudden forceful movements, the ability to shout and make noise, coordinated behavior within a group, tools, and fire. Every single one of those deterrents requires being awake and alert. Sleep doesn't just remove your ability to respond, it removes the information you broadcast. A sleeping person tells the environment, no awareness here, no group coordination here, no threat assessment happening here. If an attack begins while you're in deep sleep, the window between first physical contact and a position of complete vulnerability can be measured in seconds, not minutes. Lions kill large prey through control methods. They use their weight and strength to pin, they bite the throat or muzzle area to cut off air, they control the spine. None of those methods require prolonged engagement if the target starts from a prone, disoriented state. This is exactly why documented attacks on humans in Africa and parts of Asia so consistently involve people sleeping outdoors, traveling at night, walking alone, or in otherwise compromised positions. The vulnerability window is real, it's well documented, and sleep creates it almost perfectly. A very common assumption is that a tent solves this problem entirely, so let's address it directly. In many well-managed safari camps and research stations, tents do provide meaningful protection, not because of their physical strength, but because the broader camp context creates a zone that experienced lions have learned to associate with humans and with costs. A camp with professional guides, organized movement patterns, controlled lighting, group presence, and established camp hygiene sends a set of signals that keep most lions at a safe distance most of the time. But a tent alone, just the fabric structure, is not a barrier to a committed lion. There are multiple documented cases of lions pawing at tent fabric, biting through thin nylon, and, in several historical incidents, dragging people from inadequately secured temporary shelters. The most famous extended example of this is the Savo-Maneater series of 1898, where two lions repeatedly attacked workers in various types of enclosures, including structures that workers had believed were secure enough. So the protection a tent provides in lion territory is almost entirely contextual. It works because of what surrounds it, not because of what it's made from. A lone tent, pitched without fire or companions or professional camp presence in an area where lions are active, is not meaningfully safer than sleeping fully exposed. Let's walk through the realistic range of what could happen if you slept unprotected in lion territory, from least dangerous to worst. The first possibility is that nothing happens that night. A lion may never come close enough to detect you, or it detects you and the risk calculation doesn't favor approach. If there is abundant prey nearby, if the lion recently fed, if the wind conditions don't carry your scent clearly, avoidance is a genuine outcome. In areas where lions have had no contact with humans as prey and no prior conditioning around human camps, this might even be the most likely single outcome for any given night. The second possibility is that you're investigated, but not approached closely. The lion scents you from a distance, watches for a period, and moves on without reducing the gap. You wake in the morning with no idea that something with 400 pounds of muscle and the night vision of a predator spent time reading your sleeping body from 30 meters away. The third possibility is a close-range investigation. The lion approaches near enough that if you woke and made forceful, confident noise, stood up, shouted, raised your arms, made yourself appear large, there's a genuine chance it would retreat. This is the scenario where human behavior during the encounter still matters. The fourth possibility is a defensive incident rather than a predatory one. If you've unknowingly camped near cubs, near a kill, or in a space a lion is actively defending, the response isn't about food, it's about protection. That scenario can be explosive in its speed and doesn't follow the same behavioral pattern as a predatory hunt. The fifth possibility is a predatory attack, and the danger in this scenario is compounded at every level by where you started: prone, disoriented, maximally vulnerable, and in conditions where the predator had every sensory advantage. Let's be specific about what actually changes the probability in this scenario, because the variables matter more than any general rule. Sleeping alone rather than in a vigilant group is the single most significant risk factor. Lions are social predators that raid group size and group behavior as a core part of their cost-benefit assessment. A lone sleeping person is a fundamentally different target profile than 4 alert people around a fire. Sleeping on open ground rather than elevated, enclosed, or inside a secure structure removes the physical and psychological barrier that alters approach cost. Being downwind from active lion movement, so your scent drifts into their path, increases detection probability substantially. Sleeping near game trails, water sources, thick cover, or carcasses dramatically increases the likelihood of a lion moving through close proximity. Having food odors, blood from cut meat, or livestock scent in your sleeping area is one of the highest risk factors because it broadcasts a resource attraction rather than just a neutral human presence. Being in a region with documented human-lion conflict, or in an area where lions have already learned that human areas provide food or easy access, former livestock raiding lions habituated to camp scavenging, is an entirely different risk level than a remote wilderness with minimal human-lion overlap. And if you wake during a close-range encounter, running is one of the most dangerous responses you can make. Fleeing is a powerful predatory trigger. It can convert a lion's ambivalence or investigation into a chase response, and the outcome of that chase is not in your favor. What reduces risk is a specific opposite pattern: hard-sided vehicle or professionally managed camp with group presence, experienced local guides who understand current lion movement and conflict patterns in that specific area, avoidance of game paths and water points at night, clean camp practices that remove food attractants, and a controlled, confident response if close contact occurs. There is a popular belief worth addressing directly: that lions don't generally target humans. In a limited and conditional sense, this is true for healthy lions in areas with abundant prey and minimal human overlap. In those specific conditions, lions have often learned to treat people as a cost they'd rather not pay: noisy, unpredictable, associated with vehicles and weapons. But learned behavior can be conditioned in either direction. A lion that has repeatedly found that livestock enclosures can be penetrated, that human sleeping areas are accessible, that camp environments provide scavenging opportunities without serious consequences, that animal is not the same as a lion with zero history of human contact. The Tsavo attacks of 1898 are the most documented historical case, but they're not isolated. Documented human-lion conflict in Tanzania, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and the range of the Asiatic lion in India consistently follows a pattern: prey scarcity or prey displacement, habitat overlap at night, injured or aging lions with reduced ability to take their usual prey, and human behavior that creates vulnerability. Sleeping outdoors, traveling at night, inadequate enclosures. The attacks are not random, and they are not driven by lion malevolence. They're ecological in their root cause, and they follow the vulnerability. One more layer of this scenario that deserves attention is the sheer sensory asymmetry that the nighttime creates. Lions are most active between dusk and dawn, the cooler hours and hot climates, the period when their low-light vision advantage is at maximum and their prey is most concentrated around water sources. They move on known routes, regular paths to water, to cover, to prey grounds. If you have fallen asleep on or near one of those routes, which you cannot know without local knowledge, the probability of a lion passing close to you rises sharply. The sounds you make while sleeping are also more significant than most people recognize. Breathing patterns, occasional body movements, even snoring create localizable acoustic signatures in quiet outdoor conditions. A lion, at 40 meters, in still air, may have more information about where your sleeping body is located than you would have about anything at the same distance. And a recently fed lion is not a guarantee of safety. Lions can still act defensively, opportunistically, or in response to a sleeping human stumbled upon accidentally, regardless of their feeding state. The full stomach logic applies as a statistical reduction in motivation, not as a reliable protection. There's one more dimension of this scenario that changes the risk equation significantly: whether the lions you're near are alone or in a pride. Lions are fundamentally social animals. A pride, which typically includes several adult females, their cubs, and one or more males, can coordinate in ways that a single lion cannot. Multiple lions can surround a sleeping area from different directions simultaneously. They can suppress the noise and movement signatures that a single lion investigating on its own might produce. The social structure also changes how individual lions assess risk. A lone lion making an approach to an uncertain target faces the full cost of any potential injury alone. A lion acting within a pride can rely on others to assist if the target responds unexpectedly. This changes the approach threshold. A pride will sometimes commit to contact in situations where a single lion would abort. At the same time, prides tend to stay within well-defined home ranges that overlap consistently with water sources and prey concentrations. If you're sleeping inside that range, you're inside a space that multiple lions travel through regularly, know intimately, and patrol without announcing themselves. Let's be specific about what the historical and contemporary record of lion attacks on sleeping humans actually shows, because the data is more concrete than most people realize. In Tanzania, which has one of the world's highest rates of documented human-lion conflict, researchers have compiled attack records going back decades. The patterns are consistent. Most attacks occur at night, most involve people sleeping in inadequate or temporary shelters, and many involve lions that have prior histories of livestock raiding or human contact near settlements. A 2005 study published in the journal Nature documented that lions in Tanzania exploited a specific window around new moon nights, when ambient light is at minimum, to attack sleeping people in significantly higher numbers. The researchers found that lion attacks on humans in that region spiked in the days immediately after a full moon and increased through the following weeks as the nights got darker. The mechanism was the same one at the core of this whole scenario. Low light gives lions their maximum sensory advantage over a sleeping or night-traveling human. In Mozambique, post-Civil War displacement pushed both humans and lions into overlapping territories in ways that caused documented multi-year attack series. In parts of India, where the Asiatic lion population has survived only in and around the Gir forest, human-lion conflict has followed the same ecological pattern: people gathering forest resources at night, sleeping near crop fields to guard against animal damage, or moving through lion territory without the protection of group presence and fire. This is not exotic or rare history. It's a pattern that researchers have documented across multiple countries and multiple decades, driven by the same core variables every time. So here's the honest answer to the question this video started with. If you fell asleep unprotected in lion territory tonight, the most likely immediate outcome might still be that you woke up safe the next morning. But the honest reason the scenario is dangerous isn't the certainty of attack. It's that you have surrendered every signal that normally makes humans costly targets, and the outcome is entirely outside your control. Upright posture, awareness, group coordination, fire, noise, all of those deterrents require a functioning human being, and sleep produces the opposite. From the predator's point of view, a sleeping human on the ground is the easiest version of a human that exists. Whether a lion acts on that depends on its hunger, its learned history, the wind direction, what prey is available nearby, and a dozen variables you cannot influence while unconscious. The documented attack record across Tanzania, Mozambique, India, and other regions of human-lion overlap tells us that this isn't theoretical. It is a pattern that repeats wherever the conditions align. The uncertainty is the danger, and in lion country at night, that uncertainty is not small, and it's not evenly distributed. If you found this kind of immersive predator scenario interesting, there's another video about what would actually happen if you came face-to-face with a wild predator while hiking alone, including the survival instincts that are wired into humans whether we know about them or not. That video is linked right now at the end of this screen.